Welcome everyone to the Deal Finder Corner. So this is your weekly property talk show brought to you by Property Filter, hosted by myself, Guillaume Black, your favorite Frenchman, the CEO and co-founder at Property Filter. It's the UK's highest rated platform to find deals, as you know, and we're on a mission to empower our property investor and deal sourcer members find a few thousand deals this year like they did last year, thanks to the Property Filter blueprint. So really the purpose with this Deal Finder Corner is to give you more and the best of the available resources by inviting expert guests who will share with you the latest and most current strategies, tactics, and secrets about what actually works right now in terms of finding and making deals and the reality of running and systemizing a high-performance business in property. So it really is my pleasure to introduce you or reintroduce you to my very good friend Michelle Cairns on today's Deal Finder Corner. So Michelle needs very little introduction, but she's a very well-known property investor in the UK with a diverse portfolio, including blocks of flats, single lets, shops, HMOs. She specializes in creative structure deals, and she's got quite a big portfolio. She's grown around with working with private investors and using lease options, vendor finance, and things like that. And a lot has changed. She used to teach French and Spanish. Quite a while back. Thanks to property. And not only she's established herself and her portfolio in a way that she doesn't need to work anymore. She's now one of the partners at YPN, so Your Property Network magazine, and she does a lot of the community engagement things, the podcast. She's got wearing lots and lots of hats there, coaching, growing the business. And since I think 4 or 5 years, since before COVID, when you launched the YPN podcast, you interviewed 350 experts, within the property industry, and it's a really, really good resource if you're not listening to it already. And because she's met all these incredible people, she has now some incredible insights in what works and a wealth of contact really in this industry and the broader entrepreneurial community as well. So 10 years in property, she's coached over 1,000 people to get started and get clear about their property goals. She's spotted and seen the patterns of mistakes people make, especially when they start, and know what works. And clarity is a huge theme we talk about here all the time. It is the first step to get success is to be clear what you are after. So in this episode, we are going to go through a few things. So Michelle is going to share with us 2 essential actions you can take today to guarantee your success in property investing. You learn the top reasons why most people fail in securing deals, and it's not what you think it is. And also we'll go through the pitfalls really of why is it that people do these mistakes, and why is it that people spin the wheels and turn around with their property to-do list that seems to get there nowhere. So very, very much looking forward to hearing about today's Michelle's talk. As I said as in the intro, we talked about this at length quite a while ago, and this is now coming to something amazing today. So really, really excited to discover it with all of you. So over to you, my dear Michelle.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Let's get going, guys. So, right. We're going to be talking today about how to get crystal clarity and focus and how this is the missing piece. And it's an absolute pleasure to partner up with Property Filter to be talking about this topic, because I know that it's really important for everybody who's in the Property Filter community. And we're here to, dive into this topic and help you get clear. So let's get cracking. What are we going to cover today? As Guillaume said, what are the 2 things you need to be successful? Why aren't you getting those deals over the line? And why you aren't completing your to-do list? So if you've got a pen and paper, please grab it. We're going to do a little exercise shortly. Okay, so why are you guys here today? So you've obviously seen an email, you've seen something on social media about this. So in the chat, type in, something that brought you here today. Is there a particular area that you want clarity over? Or is it a particular task? It's a particular, maybe you're struggling with raising private finance or stacking deals, or what would you like clarity over? You've come here today for a reason. So in the chat, let us know, and I'll give everyone just a chance just to think about that and have have an idea. So Alistair's saying focus. Kim wants to do less with more of what works. Absolutely, that 80-20 rule, identifying what are the things that are really going to push you forward and prioritizing those. But first of all, being clear on what they are. Of course, Bruce is saying raising private finance. We've got Harriet who's saying deal stacking. Okay, fantastic, guys. Keep those coming in just as we're going through. So why am I here today? Well, as Guillaume mentioned just then, I'm working with YPN. YPN have been around forever, since 2008. Very established brand, 8,000 paying subscribers to the magazine, 600 members of our training groups, many of which I manage, and the followers on social media who get in touch with us as well, 25,000. Big numbers here. But over the last 6 years of coaching thousands of people in our community, I've noticed some clear patterns. And they are that there are people who succeed and the people who get stuck. Okay, so it's very clear that there are people kind of fall in two camps. There's not many people who are in between. They either succeed in their goals or they just get stuck. There are the winners and the non-starters. And we've watched the winners and the non-starters and have been building into our trainings everything that you need to know about a specific property strategy. So whether they're coming to learn about HMOs or service accommodation or developments, whatever, the content is built around what they need to know on the strategy. But there is still a lack of confidence, action, and results. So this is the biggest problem that I see. And over the years, I've been, working with the team and thinking, okay, how can we plug this gap? And with this is what we're going to be. This is what's brought me here today. So we all know that it's possible. You've seen others succeed in property, in your network, in your training groups, on stage. So what is the difference? What is the difference between the people who are succeeding and the people who aren't reaching their goals? Well, taking action. There is an action piece that is missing, because otherwise we're all sitting around kind of procrastinating and we aren't getting the actions, we're not getting the results that we need. So there's a missing piece somewhere. And procrastination is just a symptom that you're not clear on what you should be doing. You need to know what you are doing and why. So if you don't know exactly what to do today, then you need a clear plan and you need clarity. We're going to talk about this today. So if you've ever created a plan but struggled to stick to it, maybe you've been working on the wrong plan. So if anybody can relate to this, feel free to jump in the chat if it's resonating with you, ringing true. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. You can just put a me in the chat if any of these relate to you. These are the most common questions we get asked in our community, and I know that they are familiar across lots of training communities as well. So if any of these resonate, put me in the chat. How do I know where to start? How do I stack a deal? With so many strategies, I feel overwhelmed. How can I get a plan? How do I get my offers accepted? How do I best focus my time? How can you help me find the best deals? How do I find investors? How do I secure my first deal? How do I approach motivated sellers? What is the best way to get deals that give me £6,000 to £10,000 a month? I'm overwhelmed by all these strategies. I'm not sure which is the best one for me. So I can see lots and lots of yeses coming through, lots of me's, yeah, all the time. So if you've ever said any of these, then it's because you've skipped a step and you don't even know it. So that feeling of kind of going round and round in circles, you're trying to do the same thing over and over again, and you're not sure what the missing piece is, because you can see other people succeeding and there must be something that you're missing, right? This is what I believe it is. You've skipped a step. What is that step? So what is the problem? The problem is, in this situation, you feel overwhelmed. There's too much information overload. It's that paralysis by analysis. It's overwhelm. Maybe it's a shiny penny monster coming through. You've got too many different options and you want to do them all. Maybe for you, it's that you can't describe your perfect deal, that you don't know how to fund it. Maybe you're feeling alone and you haven't got a community to go to, or you're anywhere to get your questions answered. Maybe you've got no clear goals. Like, what's your reason to get up in the morning, right? No clear why. Even if you know what the goal is, like, okay, having pina coladas on a Spanish beach, right? But why do you want to do that? Are you clear on that? Maybe there's no accountability. And this happens so often when people come out of a very corporate world, or where there's a lot of routine, and then you've got to manage your own time. And especially people who leave the day job and then they go full time in property, and now it's like, wow, now I really need to create a whole accountability and structure, but they don't have it anywhere, and they're trying to do this on their own. There's no accountability, and I can certainly relate to that. My job before getting into property was in teaching, so the bell literally rang every hour. I knew exactly where I had to be, in what classroom, when I was going to have my lunch, when I was going to go to the toilet, when I was going to finish and start. It was complete structure, and to go from that into having to completely manage my own time, I found that really tough. So like it's not it's a very common problem. And then how about the no confidence to implement? You might know what to do, but for a lot of people, not having that confidence to go out there and make those phone calls is real for a lot of people, right? And maybe there might be one or two of these that resonate, maybe it's all of them. I remember pacing up and down in the living room, and I had my notes in front of me. I needed to call the agent, and I'd written out a script, and I was, psyching myself up to make these phone calls. I lit the same walking down the road where all the agents were, and I was picking who was going to be the nicest to me, and I'd go to them first, and then, you hopefully you get someone who was really accommodating and didn't just shut you down, and then that'd give you a bit of a boost to go on to the ones that were a bit trickier. So confidence is a huge factor in this. But when you're not clear, if you don't have a script, if you don't have an idea of what you're even going to say when you walk in the agents, well, that is going to stop you having that confidence. So making sure that you're really clear on what it is you want and clear on how you can stack deals, that's one way to gain that confidence, so that over time you don't need confidence because you just know how to do it. Now I could just pick up a phone and call an agent. I could walk into an agent's and speak to somebody. I don't need that confidence anymore because I've put those reps in, and I've done so much kind of practice on that. Maybe it's about no support. Perhaps like this is it's great that obviously all you guys are here today and you are getting that support, but maybe there's a lack of support from outside of the property community where you are thinking, okay, I still need somewhere to get my questions answered because I can't ask family and friends. They're not in it. They don't understand. And having that support can be really crucial. So, what are you here to find out? Here to find out the two essential things, why you're not getting the deals over the line, and why you're not getting your to-do list done. So, let's get started. The two essential things are clarity on where you are now, right? If you're going to put and I'm sure Guillaume can relate to this because he used to build bridges. Guillaume, if you wanted to build a bridge from one side to the other side, like you have to be clear on what the bridge looks like, what it's made of, the structure of it, where exactly it's going to go. Can you imagine trying to build a bridge, guys, without a plan? You're like, okay, you need to reach the other side. Is that enough? Of course, it's not enough. You need to have a detailed plan of where you are now, where you want to go, and where you want to be, and then how to get there. So really have a think about this, and after today's session, just go away and be thinking about this, because I think people are asking the wrong questions. Most people are saying, oh, which strategy should I do? Well, how can you answer that question if you don't know what you want or where you are right now? So you need to reverse engineer it and ask a different question. Okay. So we're going to do a little exercise about where you are now. So I'd like you to just write down 1 to 10. If you want to do the wheel, then you can draw this wheel, but you could do that later. So it's a bit, if you're familiar with the wheel of life, where you colour in different sections based on how confident you feel in each area. So 0 being the centre, 10 being you feel like you are the most confident in this area. We're going to have 10 different sections, and but you can just put 1 to 10 in how you feel. So let's do the first one together. So deal stacking. How confident do you feel like in your skill set and your confidence about deal stacking? 10 out of 10, I can stack a deal. I've got a spreadsheet ready. I've got my property filter. I know how to use the deal stacking element of that, and I can stack a deal confidently. Let's say buy to let and HMO, right? So do you do that? And in fact, in the chat, feel free to put a number in the chat if if you're happy to share. So 10 out of 10 is I definitely know how to stack a HMO or buy to let deal. Nothing too complicated, not like service accommodation or a buy, refurbish, refinance or whatever. Yeah, so getting 5, 10, 4. Guillaume's 10, good. We're glad Guillaume's on a 10. Jean's saying 4, Alistair's saying 4, Eugene's saying 3. We've got Gladys saying 4, and we so even though we might have a tool, we might not necessarily be confident on how to use it. Is that fair? Yeah. So okay, deal stacking. Next one is raising finance. So finance, whether that is through a mortgage, perhaps that's being mortgageable, maybe that's through working with private finance, private investors, maybe that's through joint ventures. If I said to you today, I've got a cracking deal, it's in your area, it's 20% below market value, and you need, let's call it £100,000. Like, how confident do you feel that you could put a one pager or an investor pack together and go out and raise some money? Say to, if you've got people in your network that have got money, or have you got contacts already? Maybe you've got an investor list. Okay, so lots of 3s coming through, 1s, 2s, Paul's saying a 5. Okay, so it's really interesting. So guys, as we're doing this is giving you clarity on the areas that you need to focus on. Lots of 5s. I haven't seen anyone above a 5 yet. Great. Okay, next one, strategy knowledge. So if you do know your strategy, let's say it's HMOs or service accommodation, how confident do you feel that, if you found a deal today, you could go out there and operate that? So let's say it's a HMO, like you'd know what you would need. You would know about if it's in the Article 4 area, or if you need a license, and if you do need the license, what needs to do, or how to contact the council, or how to manage tenants, like what are the certificates that need to be in place in order to rent somewhere. So strategy knowledge. Now, if you don't know what strategy you're doing, well, then that's obviously a 0. If you know a bit about a few things, then maybe that's a 3. Yeah, we're getting a few more higher results here. We're getting 4, 6, a couple of 6s. Paul saying 5, you saying 3, fantastic. So that's strategy knowledge. Power team, so important that when you get a deal, you've got a mortgage advisor that you can just pick up the phone and say, I've got one. Here it is. Now, I can't tell you how many times I've called my solicitor to say, I've got a deal. And it's just never happened, right? It's fallen through. And you know what? They don't mind, because they know that one day you're going to get the deal, and that's the business. So don't be afraid of contacting these people to say, I've got this thing I'm looking at, could I get a mortgage on it? So whether that is so I would say bare essentials, you need a mortgage advisor, you need a planning consultant, you need a solicitor, you need tax advisor, and depending on where you are, an accountant if you've already got some properties, of course. So they would be my top 5. After that, once you get deals, then you can look into interior designers and more specialist architects and that kind of thing. But for now, getting started, make sure you've got, do you, when I say power team, do you have them on your phone, a phone number that you can call? Or is it a case of, oh, well, there was someone at that networking group that came and gave me a card. I don't know where the card is. So have a think about power team, put your numbers in. Bruce is saying 0, Eugene's saying 3. So numbers for a power team. We've got 3s coming through. 3. This is interesting. Wow, okay, 0. Remember, guys, everyone's got to start somewhere. You've got to start building your power team. And my advice to you, please write this down, build your team before you need it. Build your team before you need it, guys. Okay, interesting. Most people are on low scores for this one. Paul's on 6, but everyone else is kind of 0 to 4. Interesting. Okay. Deal assessment. So looking at all of the things involved, and obviously Property Filter does all of this legwork for you. But how do you, once you've got that data, how do you understand that data? How are you going to assess that deal? So it's all very well that, on Property Filter it says, the top 5 comparables are this, but what does that mean, right? If you're going to present this, if you're going to look at a deal for yourself, or you're going to present it to an investor, then how are you going to present this deal? What do those comparables mean? Does it mean that is a good deal or it's a great deal? The fact that it's, the the last sold price was in 1982. What does that mean? Is there a ton of equity in that? Is there a lot of wiggle room for them? The EPC, it might say on Property Filter, well, it's got an EPC of an E, but what does that mean? Does that mean that you can rent it out? Does that mean that you need to do some work to it? So in the chat, put your deal assessment number in the chat for me. Okay, we're getting 3s, 4s, 4s, 4, 4, 4. Okay, 4s and 5s. Okay, 5 is our top number for deal assessment so far. Fab. Okay, number 6, personal brand. So when you're working with an investor or perhaps an agent, maybe it's a vendor, one of the first things that we'll all do, if I would say the first thing, is they will go on to the internet and look to see, is this person real? Is there anything positive about them? Is there anything negative? What is your brand? Do you have a personal brand? Now, you don't have to have all your colors selected and your logos and, quote of the day, but you do need to be present. You need to be credible. It's not you on a Saturday night in the gutter somewhere. Hide those. There are filters in the social media to hide those with your close friends. What is your personal brand? What do you stand for? What do people see? Do they see a track record? And it might, guys, don't be put off because you don't have photos with the keys. That's not what I'm talking about. It's like, share a screenshot of this. Hey, I'm investing in myself. So that when people look in 6 months' time, they can see, okay, I can see that she was working with Michelle Cairns and Kieran Black and Property Filter, and that person is investing in themselves. That's what people want to say. They're at a networking meeting and they've got a photo taken with, Simon Zucci, and that's, they are connected in some way that it represents what you stand for, represents credibility. So in the chat, put a number for personal brand. Beatrice is first off the mark there with number 2. Okay, and remember, there's no good or bad, guys. It's just about being clear on where you're at now. That's the aim of today. Alistair's saying 6, Mel's saying 3, 4 saying, Bruce saying 4, got 2, 4, 4, 5, 5, 5s, a couple of 5s coming through. Amazing, amazing. Okay, next one, negotiating. Right now, I talk a lot about this, and in fact, I did another session with the Deal Finders Corner last year, and it was about creating deals from thin air that there were no deals. And people say, "Oh, there's all these properties online, but there's no deals." Like, that's your job. That's your job to go in where there is a property with a vendor or an agent, and your job is to go in and negotiate. That's how you create a deal. That's how you create value, because you're going to go in and negotiate. Now, if you've got no negotiation skills and you don't know what questions to ask, like, you're going to struggle. And then you're going to come back and say, there's no deals, right? Negotiating is in the follow-up as well, right? It's about, I'll give you an example. The place that I'm sitting in right now is absolutely incredible. I got it on a purchase lease option, right? And I made the offer, and it was so good. This place is incredible. It's got a view of the lake. I should have had a photo on here. It's amazing. Anyway, the first time I called up the agent, I said, this is a crazy offer. I'm sure you're going to say no to it, but if you could just hear me out, that would be great. And I explained about purchase lease option. Obviously, I didn't use the words purchase lease option, but I explained the situation. I said, I can make an offer, full asking price, but I'd like to control it for 5 years. And then she went away and there was like radio silence. And I was like, okay, 2 weeks later, did the message get to the owner kind of thing? Yeah, okay. They're having to think about it. It's like, wow, okay. Well, it's not straight now. I was like, amazing. A few weeks passed by. I'm the one chasing each time. Now, at each point, the couple of weeks go by, I'm going back and now I really want this deal. So this is a little bit different because it's not like a normal investment one. This is somewhere that I would love to live. So I am saying to them, okay, thinking in my head, how can I negotiate? And I go in and say, the lease fee, um, well, I'll pay 6 months up front. And she's okay, I'll send it to the owner. Radio silence. Okay, a couple more weeks pass and still nothing. So I'm thinking, well, at least I'm in. It's not a no. Go back again. 12 months up front. Okay, well, now they're really thinking about it. In the end, they took it. I said, I'll pay 12 months up front. I'll pay your agency fees and I'll pay your sister fees. It got me the deal, right? I was going to pay the 12 months anyway, right? It's just that I had to pay it up front. So, it's this negotiation, the negotiation skills, asking the right questions. And there are more questions that we can come up with, around, what is I spoke to somebody yesterday, actually, went to the view and we said, what's the lowest price that you'd be willing to accept and still be happy? Right? That question on its own, so powerful. So I want to encourage you to collect these negotiating questions. If you haven't read the book, Chris Voss, Never Split the Difference, then go out and buy that today. Okay, if Mark's nodding, it's incredible. In fact, I've signed up to his online course and everything. It's absolutely amazing. So that is a game changer in negotiation. So I'd highly advise you to go that. Anyway, I've been rambling. What's your number for number 7? Negotiating. How you were going to all tell me your 10s out of 10s now, and then I was just talking to myself. So in the chat, what are your numbers? Okay, we've got 2s, 4s, 7s, 2s, 2, 5, 5, 6, 4. Okay. So I think Alistair's in there with a 7 at our highest number. Okay. Systems. Now, obviously, Property Filter provides you with a fantastic pipeline that you can be tracking all of your deals, but are you using it? Do you know how to use it? So when you click the button that says, show me this next time there's a change, do you know where to find that deal, or has it just gone into the depths of Property Filter somewhere? Are you tracking them? Do you have a system for following up? So when that little notification comes up to say, hey, it's time for you to contact the agent again, like, are you doing that? Are you checking in with Property Filter? Do you have some sort of reminder system for yourself to get in there on a set day every week or every couple of days, so you're checking your notifications? Because there's no point in setting all these things up if you're not seeing them or being able to use them. So systems in place, whether that is your CRM, whether you're using the Property Filter pipeline, what systems are you using and how confident do you feel? In the chat, drop a number in for me. Drop a number in for systems. 2, 6, 3, 2, 2, 6. Guillaume saying 10. Glad one of us is a 10. 3, 3. Okay, amazing. So interesting, very interesting. Number 9, nice and easy one, your time. So if you are full-time in property, nothing else to do, then you're a 10. If you are got the day job and you're trying to grab scraps of time in the evenings, then you're like a 1 or 2. So in the chat, let me know for time. Shane is saying 1, Eugene's saying 1. Right. Okay. Well, I guess I'm very honored that you're here with me today if you're only at a 1. You are in the right place, guys. Now, remember, if you identify that time is where you really need to plug a gap and you're thinking, I don't have any, well, remember, you can buy back time. And whether that is through, let's say you're doing an hour of ironing or cleaning the house or repairing something, you could probably buy that hour back for £15 an hour. Yeah. So if you're working with, perhaps you can get a system in place. Maybe there's some software, maybe there's, working with assistants. You can buy in some skill sets to cover that time. If you're doing an investor pack and it's such, it's taking you 2 hours to put that together, like pay £50 for somebody to just put an investor pack together for you. Right? You just bought back your time. So really be thinking about what your time is worth. Yeah, what your time is worth. Okay, most people are at 3s, 2s, 4s at 5, mils at 6. Amazing. Okay. So last one, funds, right? Whether that is, so what have you got access to today? So I'm not talking about raising finance, personal funds. 10 is you've got enough to go and get a deposit, and 0 is like no money and no way of getting it. So have a think about that. I'm not going to ask you to share that one. That is, you can if you want, but is something to think about. So maybe it's a case of, if you don't have the funds, then you need to focus on the raising the finance. Maybe you don't have the funds. That means you need to be creative. That means you need to be looking at deals that don't have that much upfront costs. That might be rent, service accommodation, rent to something. It might be partnering with somebody. It might be joint ventures. It might be vendor finance. It might be purchase lease options. So you're going to need to look at alternative ways to fund those deals. Bruce is saying creative. Yes, I know Bruce is very creative. Okay, so cool exercise. If it's cool to just draw that out on a wheel so you can get a real visualization rather than just a bunch of numbers. Feel free to take a screenshot of that. So that's where you are now. Where do you want to be? Yeah. And by when? We can all say want to be 10 out of 10. By when? And do you need to be, do you need to have 10 out of 10 systems in order to succeed? I don't think so. Do you need to have full time in property to succeed? I don't think so. So there's one to think about, right? Now, when is good? When is enough, right? When is it going to be good enough? And that's going to be different for everyone based on where you're at right now. Agreed? Cool. In the chat, let me know any kind of aha moments, anything that kind of stands out for you. How helpful was this to gauge where you are right now? I'll take a sip of water and give you a chance just to have a think about that. Just drop that in the chat whenever you're ready. Okay, so if you've got a gap between where you are now and where you want to be, then what's missing? You've got to identify those gaps, which is the first piece of clarity. Then your gap becomes your map. Your gap becomes your map. I want you to write this down. MAP. If you're familiar with Tony Robbins, I borrowed this from him because he's incredible. And, why not? If you can't borrow it from Tony Robbins, who are you going to borrow it from? Massive action plan. MAP. Massive action plan. Okay, just some little plan with a few to-dos on it is not going to get you where you need to be. Otherwise, everybody would be doing this and everyone would be achieving their financial freedom goals. Okay, so this plan becomes your daily to-do list, right? Once you've got that vision of the gap and the map and where you need to, how you're going to get there, then you can break that down and extract that into a to-do list. But why aren't you doing your to-do lists? You guys already, some of you are saying you aren't doing your to-do lists as it is without all of this map and gap and clarity. So maybe it's because you don't have a strong enough reason why. Maybe it's because you're not sure about your motivation. Are you motivated by towards goals or away from them? Now, some of you might be familiar with this, some of you not. But whether you are or not, are you clear on them? Do you know whether you're towards or away from? And as I'm talking, you can drop it into the chat. Towards people are very focused on like the big vision, and like what pulls them is towards this idea of the Lamborghini and the beach and the, the sunset and, all of these things. So that vision of being towards really motivates people to get out of bed and go for their goals, right? Then there's the people who are more motivated by away from. Now, it doesn't mean to say that you're not motivated by both. Of course you are, but most people have like a primary driver. For me personally, I'm away from, and I love this little image here. Exercise requires some motivation, right? Some people like need some like big fear, big ass kind of like motivation behind them to make them move forward. And for me, for many years, my motivation was to get out of work, right? I wasn't focused on sitting on the beach or what I was going to do once I got to my goals and all of that stuff. I just wanted to get out of the day job. I wanted to be free and be able to choose how I spend my time and not have to rely on anyone else, whether that is the government or a partner or my parents or anything else. I just wanted to be in control of my finances and have a choice. I didn't want to feel trapped. Another away from. Okay. So I was moving away from all of this feeling of trapped in the day job. So in the chat, let me know. Are you are you away from or towards? Rich is saying definitely towards. Yeah. Do you know? Right. So this is a clarity piece as well. Drop in the chat. What is your fuel? Is it towards or away from? Towards the big vision or away from something? Let me know in the chat. Okay. I think most people here are saying, well, it's a mix towards, away from, towards, away from. Amazing. Away. Paul saying away. Eugene saying away. Bruce is saying away. Wow. That's really interesting. So Guillaume saying, for me, it started away, but now driven towards. And you're right, Guillaume. That's what happened to me. Because once I'd achieved that goal of getting out of the day job, I was like, now what? I don't have that driver anymore. And I really had this lull period where I struggled with motivating myself and getting clear. And I had to create a new goal. And that new goal was to, have a family of my own and have my own home and have that set up. And I'm very blessed to be able to say that I've achieved that as well. There's lots of things you can do when you're bored. And that, this is interesting because once you get to that point where you've left the day job, suddenly you have all of that free time, and then you can explore your passion and what your passion projects or something else that it is what you really want to do with your time. So type yes in the chat if you're ready to make some changes in your life, guys. Yes. Amazing. Good. You're all still with me. Even the quiet ones in the background are still with me saying yes. Good. You're all in the right room then. So we're going to take you from chaos to clarity in 30 days. Yes, just 1 month. We're going to get you clear on where you are now, where you want to be, and how to get there. You're going to get support, accountability, and get clarity by building a bespoke step-by-step 90-day roadmap. So we've got a total clarity program, and it is for you if you're in this situation, if you've been asking yourself these questions and you want clarity. So this is what it looks like. Week 1, start with you. We've just did a tiny little taster there with the wheel. We're going to be going into depth into where you are, and I'm going to go into that in a second. Week 2, defining your dream life and your reason why. Week 3, choosing your first or your next deal. And week 4, vision to victory, building your 90-day plan. So in more detail, what does this look like? Where are you now? Evaluating your resources. So similar to what we've just done with that wheel, we're going to go through a resources audit to assess really your time, money, knowledge, connections, and see those gaps on where you need to fill out. Uncover your unique investor strengths. So this is more of a personality assessment. Some of you will be familiar with wealth dynamics, other of you will be new to you. And this is about understanding your natural talents, which parts of the growing your business are best suited to you. So where are you in your flow? Then we're going to put the theory into practice. Test your deal assessment skills with a real life properties case study challenge, of course, from Property Filter. You've got everything there that you need, all the data, but how are you going to assess it? So building that confidence to analyze opportunities, and then mastering your finances. So doing an expenses audit so you can understand your financial capacity for funding, whether you've got it or not. And it basically just means the less money you've got, the more creative you've got to be. So don't be put off if you think, oh, okay, I haven't got any money. That's where I was. I had no pot of money, no inheritance. I had to be creative. But it's just the most important thing is that you're clear on where you're at. Okay. Then week 2 is your dream life, your goals, your reasons. Why? So discover your dream life. We're going to get clear on your ultimate lifestyle, but what does that cost? I'm not interested in, oh, I want to be on a beach. Like, I want to know, how much does that cost? How long do you want to be on the beach for? Like, is it just a holiday, or do you want to live there? In which case, what do all these things cost? So using dreamlining techniques to visualize where you want to be, and then setting actionable goals so that you can take part in a goal mapping workshop to turn your dreams into smart property goals. So I'm sure lots of you are familiar with the specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals. So making those goals as specific as possible. And then finding your why, getting clear on your reason why, to uncover that deep emotional reasons to drive your property journey, so that you have got the motivation to do your to-do list. So once you've got that to-do list, what is going to get you up in the morning and make you complete those to-dos? Now, we're not talking about completing the entire to-do list in one day, but we are talking about making sure we're chipping away at that every day. Because let me tell you, sometimes it can feel lonely when you're on your own and you're thinking, oh God, I've got my to-do list, but no one's going to know if I don't do this today. Or, if you're committing to getting up early in the morning, so you've got that free headspace, like when that alarm goes off, are you going to press snooze, or are you just going to get out of bed and get on with it and do what you said you're going to do, right? Because you've got that clear reason why, that's locked in, right? And you know why you're doing this. Then week 3, choose your path, identifying the right opportunity, getting clear on which is the best strategy for you right now, evaluating potential deals based on your unique financial position, goals, and timeline. Okay, so we're mapping the strategy back to where you are right now, taking into account where you want to be. Yeah. Analyzing the deals with confidence. So, or everybody there was nobody at a 10, getting you up to a 10 on how to stack the deal that you want to be doing. Okay. So if you're at a position where you are not comfortable, not confident stacking a deal, then I would suggest that you probably need to stick to a strategy that is more simple for now, that you're not going to try and do some sort of complicated convert, residential to commercial with some crazy 18-month project, right? So this is about upgrading your skills in deal analysis, including assessing the ROI, rental yields, and market suitability. So the full analysis, like what's the demand in the area, and pulling that together so that it gives you meaning and you can stack a deal with confidence. Number 3, setting timelines for success. Now, some of you might be retired. Some of you want to retire really soon. That's going to be very different than, if you are still in the day job and you've still got family commitments and all of these kind of things. For some of you, you might be downsizing. You might have a property that you're releasing some equity from, and you've actually got enough money to kind of keep going, but you need to be investing that money. All of these things is very different. So there is not a one size fits all. Please don't think that I've got the answer to this, because I don't, but you do. And that's what we're going to work on, extracting those where you're at right now and all your criteria, so that you really understand that this is a bespoke roadmap for you. Right, so this is where we come to building your personalized roadmap, designing a bespoke roadmap, creating a personalized strategy based on the insights gained in modules 1 to 3, building a clear roadmap to bridge that gap between your current position and your long-term goals. And then that will feed into a 30-day plan. Okay, so developing a detailed step-by-step action plan for the next 30 days based on all of these things. You're going to be using a framework to ensure that every action that you're taking on that to-do list is moving you towards your goals. Okay, I'm going to bet that making a business card does not fall onto that list. Right? It's not going to get you to your goal right now. You need to be focusing on income generating tasks, guys. Income generating tasks. That's what you need to be focusing on in making sure that you are working on the most important tasks. Okay. So who is this for? This is for anyone who's new to property and you don't know where to start. If you've already spent too much money, time and money on training, if you're not getting the results you want, if you're feeling overwhelmed with what to do next, if you've got no plan, you're ready to stop going round and round in circles and ready to put a stake in the ground, and you're ready to make this the year that makes the difference, then this is for you. This is what it's about. We've got the Total Clarity. It's a weekly group coaching sessions, live accountability and support sessions every day. So you get some form of accountability, guys, from our team every day. Yeah. WhatsApp group. All the sessions are recorded for you. You can watch them on demand whenever you want. We've got the full resources for you to keep forever. And the places are limited on that because obviously we're giving everybody in the group such a high, high intense support. So that one is currently closed. We've got a waiting list for that one. That one is 297. So we've already got a live group that we're supporting with that. However, for the property filter community, just for Guillaume, because he's invited me on, we have a special offer for you guys. You can start today. There are those four modules that I talked about. Each week you can watch on demand. They are time released, so you can get access to the first one today, get access to that WhatsApp group, all the resources included for you to keep forever, and you've got that home study version. Okay, so this is a home study version for you to do on your own. I think Guillaume or Rich is going to put the link in the chat. There's a thing there, and that is just £1. So this is a light version for you, and it is for you to do on your own. Okay, so if you want to join the version where you get hand-holded and you get all the accountability, that's 297. But if you just want the light version, which is the only one available today, then you can get that for £1. Okay, so it's 1 month. You get to watch the sessions that we have done with our other groups on demand. You can watch those. You do get to be in a support WhatsApp group, and you do get all of the resources included. But it is a home study version, so there's no live sessions with this one. Okay, so amazing. I think that link just needs to be live. If Rich, if you can find the HTTP version, that would be great. And now I'm going to go to some questions. That's it. So guys, this is just this offer, guys, is only available for the property filter community. So it's just for you guys. Please don't share it outside, and is there for you to take advantage of. So
Michelle, thank you so much. I know this is a direct answer to my biggest problem, and the biggest problem we all have when I speak to most of the community is people are spinning the wheels, they're going around in circles, and a lot of the topics at the Momentum Call is around clarity. And I know we spoke about this quite a while, and you said because you've been around all of these people, the Tony Robbins, the Daniel Presley, and now you're going with Chris Voss as well, like. Who are the eye flowers and you're not getting information from? I don't know, Michelle. And I know you're passionate about this, and it really is going to help me help the property filter community a lot more, because I call it the biggest cancer of the property industry or the property communities is people get I call it funnel jumping, like oh yeah, let me go into this, oh yeah, let me try that, and no one's really clear why they do property in the first place. I always have this thing where people are trying to quit their job and they go into, like development where they have to convert a building that's going to take 18 months and sunk, hundreds of thousands of pounds, and then, they're not getting younger, they're not getting, so this clarity thing is by far the biggest problem I see property investors, property people have in general, especially if you are a bit at the start and still working full time. I wish I had something like that to hold my hand, to start with, and it's something I'm really grateful. I know we spoke about this a while back. We booked this date. we kind of talked about everything. We not talk, we've not really talked for a few weeks. I trusted you'd come with something, and I'm amazed. Like that's really going to be super helpful. So anyone, and then you presented it super well. Like anyone finding themselves, where they like this clarity and there's all the different symptoms there. This is something I'm going to, refer a lot of people to, and I'm so grateful you built this. And I know people can get on the on the waiting list to have the group and do this in person with other people, which is great. But the fact that you recorded it and make it like a really really cool resources, it's really going to help people get more clear. And I know you guys at YPN, you, Michelle, Rich, and the team, you're really experts at using property filter to find deals as well. So really, all of this marries really well. So I'm really pleased with the what you've created here and the synergy. Like that, I'm amazed, by what you've presented today, and then it's just going to be so helpful. I know for a lot of people in the community. So yeah, thanks so much for that.
Well, I appreciate that, Guillaume. And it's interesting. It's one of those, I think it's like Einstein who said something about if you can't present something simple enough, you don't understand it well enough. And as I'm sure this topic has been on your mind, it has been on my mind for years. And this is, a really the time has come to talk about this with people because it's just been really that literally the missing piece. And we come across so many people who they join our programs and then I speak with them and I think, you're missing all of these pieces and you've kind of just jumped a step. So we are super proud of this. We're really happy to be, to bring in this to our community and of course your community as well. So, and it's great to be able to just, pull together a light version for your group. And then if anyone wants to go on and do the full version, then you
Yeah,
can,
no,
of
that's
course, do
awesome.
that. So the link's in the chat, guys. If you want to sign up, let us know if you're in as well. It'd be great to see you in there. And Beatrice, let me know.
One thing on that, Michelle, it's really the unsexy stuff, like so. I don't imagine any of the guru educators, running some ads to say, "Hey, come and get clear and clarity." Like it really is something for you have to have gone into a little bit of the rabbit hole to create yourself this overwhelm, to realize that it's actually a problem. And I realize it's really like it's unsexy to talk about this because you assume, yeah, come in property, come and make money and things. But there's so many different ways, and there's not that many ways that actually works for you. I believe that property can work for everyone, but no one wants to sit down for a weekend, never mind a whole month, to invest in this clarity thing. And it's a recurring thing. We talk about it all the time. It's the biggest problem. I call it the cancer of property investors. So yeah, and it's really interesting because it's really unsexy. But by far, having gone through something similar a few years ago, this clarity of like authorizing yourself to think, to stop being busy, figuring out why is it that you want to do property for you, and creating this plan. And I had to figure all of it pretty much on my own. And now you've got like the old framework here, like so. That's yeah. I'm really grateful for your. We talked about this, but I didn't realize. I'm really happy basically. So that's going to be really a
That's
game changer for the community. Then they won't be distracted and they'll be able to get a lot more successful in Property Filter. So another great synergy, guys. Thank you.
amazing. Well, we've got a few people who are in already. So Eugene, Melissa, Harriet, Shane, Paul, Richard, you guys are all in. And that link is going to be live. So, it's £1. Come and test it out. Come and find out what it is. It's your opportunity, guys, to just put some time aside to really get clear because as Guillaume said, it's the
It
bit
really is
that's
£1. I'm doing
it's
some of this
about,
stuff I
isn't
can't
it?
believe, right? So
Don't
because
worry,
some
there's
people
no
think
like, yeah, it doesn't trip you up and send you into £100 thing or anything like that. It's just £1, that's it. And come and work with us and it'd be great to,
so.
yeah.
Yeah, because some people are saying, "Oh, the link doesn't work," so I'm not too sure. I clicked on this link and then I scroll down to the thing that says join or something, and it works. So not too sure.
Yeah, let me go. I'll um put that link
Yeah,
in.
we're gonna share
There we
this
go.
with the community, and I'm pretty sure every time we run some of these calls, the calls we run, there's going to be people who have the questions they ask shows this lack of clarity. I call it the loaded question, where the fact that you're trying to do rent to rent and commercial to resi, it doesn't make sense. You're like, just focus on one thing, and you can only do anyone I know who is successful, who has been successful in property, got clear, it's where it starts. So
Okay.
that's a
Well,
really
we've got a
good
couple of
tool.
questions coming through. If we just do a couple of questions before we finish, we've got Jean saying, what does the time release mean? So time release means you get access to the first module, the first session today, and you get to come into the WhatsApp group today. You get access to the resources that are relevant for that first module. And then next week, we will release the next module because, again, we are conscious that we don't want to overwhelm you with like, suddenly you've got, all this to-do list for us. That's not what it's about. This is about you taking some time out to actually just focus on one specific area at a time, okay? And then the path will unfold as we go through. So you do get access to the first module today, and it's on Kajabi. So for those of you who've already got Kajabi or you're familiar with that, that's what's going to happen. So what is going to happen next is we're going to invite you to the WhatsApp group to take it from there. So you do need to put your phone number in when you sign up. I wonder Alistair's in as well. Fantastic. I wonder if the team could just put our email address in. If anyone has got any, they're not sure, they haven't got their email, then do reach out to us. It's team@yourpropertynetwork.co.uk. That's team@yourpropertynetwork.co.uk. But so when you use that email address to log in, that's where the automatic welcome email goes. So do check that email. If you can't see it straight away, obviously go to your spam or your junk to check there. And if you can't find it there, then go to the other email that you forgot that you signed up with and check there as well. So that is an automatic email. So you should all have that if you have signed up today. Bruce, will this link be working longer than time? Yes. So Bruce, this is just for the property filter community. So it is a special offer for you guys, and it's just a special offer for you guys. So if your friend is part of property filter, then that's fine. Guillaume, I'm right in thinking this is going to stay like this will arrive at the top of the list on your partner website.
That's it. Yeah. On the community, we're gonna put it there. So as a member, this is the benefits, and a lot, so many people would benefit from, investing a month in themselves, figuring out what they do. I reckon half of the property filter members would have a transformation from it. So it's something we're gonna talk about quite a bit, and because a lot of the questions I get would be answered by this, and I repeat myself about some of those frameworks, and then the fact that you're a lot better organized and how do you say, exhaustive, about all of this topic in the way you've set this up. It will really, really help a lot of people get traction, in property.
I'm glad you said exhaustive and not exhausting there.
Exhaustive, yeah.
Well, it's my background as being a teacher. It's I can't help it. It's just who I am, right? So I love being able to organize my thoughts and organize what I'm always looking at it from the people on the other side. And guys, if I can teach 11-year-olds how to speak French, then I can definitely help you. And not even 11 years. How about 15-year-olds that really don't want to be there, right? That's even worse, right? So yeah, it's an absolute pleasure. The group that we've got currently running at the moment are phenomenal. They're really getting involved. They're turning up to all the sessions, doing all of these activities, and we did the expenses audit, Guillaume, the other day, and this one lady came on and said, "Do you know what, Michelle? I went through all my bank accounts, everything, and I found a bank account that had £10,000 of savings in that I'd just forgotten about." We were all like, "Oh my God, right, let's go and check all our bank accounts." But it goes to show you, and then of course,
usually
everyone was.
Yeah, usually it's the subscriptions, is like the apps and
Well,
stuff.
that was it. Everyone had subscriptions that they wanted to cancel and things, but
So
they're
don't
paying for
cancel Property
Netflix
Filter, right?
twice or something.
But
Yeah,
anything
yeah,
else, has
exactly.
to go, right?
Exactly. There were people had like paying double for something, paying
Mhm.
double for the Netflix account or something like that. So we were definitely just that exercise alone was saving people an absolute ton of money.
Yeah.
And yeah, really interesting. So amazing. Thank you, everyone, for all of your kind comments coming through. I'm really looking forward to being in that WhatsApp group with you and finding out what it is. I absolutely love to see how you fare on that. And we do an assessment at the beginning and at the end as well. So that, like, similar to that wheel of life, we do one at the beginning to say how you feel about these different areas, and then you do it again at the end, and you can see the progress that you've made in 1 month. So there we go. Right, we've got a couple of people still need to go to your banking app for that little pound. It just needs to, so Eugene, Shane, Richard, and Vanessa, you just need to go and get unstuck in your banking app. Richard's saying, I've signed up. It's even worth it for the forms. It is absolutely, we've taken a lot of time and effort to create these resources for you guys, and they're
Yeah, one
yours to.
thing I'd say on that is be really careful, because Michelle and Rich, they've been super kind and generous to make this for us, basically. But people value, like someone has to pay attention, like you need to pay attention sometimes, sadly. So like take it for what it's worth, like it's hundreds of pounds, and invest this time, like go through the modules properly. The danger is, like, I wouldn't want you to say, okay, it was just £1, great, I get the forms, I'll go through that later. Like just do yourself a favor, basically, with it. Like these are great resources organized in an exhaustive, blueprint. You'll come transform on the other side, and you'll be clear. You'll go back to Property Filter. You'll be clear. What is it you're looking for? Why is it that you are doing this? And then all of a sudden, you'll have this drive to go and follow up on properties. If there's no self-disciplines required, no motivation, it will just be inherent, because I know when you get clarity, it's what happens. I've worked with so many people, and I know how it worked for myself as well. So because we have this super deal, don't forget about, like, don't do it just for the form. Like, just get on it, go through the sessions, and do yourself this favor. Like, it's the reason why we do these deals with really good partners, like Michelle, Rich, and the team at YPN. Like, make the most of it. Do yourself this favor.
Yes, absolutely, Guillaume. And it might be that, guys, you look at it and you think, do you know what? I would love to do it with you. I would love to do those live sessions similar to this, but you're on camera and you can come in, unmute, and we all have a chat and we actually talk through every piece with you. And if you want to do that, then of course, join the waiting list and you can upgrade to come in one of our sessions where we've got a group. You get to know everybody, and there's huge power in the vulnerability of people sharing where they are now. And I thank everybody who's been really honest and sharing, like, personal stuff today. So imagine, like, that in a group format where you get to know other people, and it just is so much more powerful. And we walk you through how to implement that. So if you do want to know, like, you've got your own questions on how to stack a deal, or which strategy, or your dream life, or whatever it is, your goals, then we can work with you. And obviously that's the upgraded version as well. So that link will take you to both. So if you want to join for the pound, or you want to get on the waiting list, then you can do that. Okay, cool. Guillaume, I think that is a good place to wrap up then.
Yeah, thanks so much. Do you have any sort of closing sentiment?
Closing sentiments is just, guys, this is the missing piece. And if you don't do this, you're still going to stay stuck going round and round in circles. So there is no progress without action. Just invest in yourself before you try investing in property. Yeah. And then you're going to set yourself up to succeed. That is the key, is just setting yourself up to succeed, not setting yourself up to fail. So, yeah. Thank you so much.
Michelle, love it. Thanks so much. Thank you. We talked about this for a long time. I shared my, frustration with this being the biggest challenge, and I'm really, really grateful this came to fruition and you put this program together. And grateful you made this super offer as a property filter benefits, so no, like this will benefit everyone. So yeah, thanks so much. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed today's Deal Finder Corner like I did. I look forward to seeing you next week. In the meantime, do visit propertyfilter.co.uk, log on to your Property Filter account, check out the deal blueprint, have an endless supply of deals, join the top 1% of high achiever deal finders, and find plenty of deals. So I hope you enjoyed today's Deal Finder Corner, and I look forward to speaking with you next week. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.